tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. Susan, I invite you to move yourself to the other side of the blue line so that our day visitor can feel like she has cooties or something. As part of our COVID protocol, we make the day visitor maintain a social distance between the...
Chef, I think your mic is broken.
Oh,
Now it's better. Yeah, thank you.
okay. I'll try to speak
Thank you.
This week, I thought of picking up some themes about the five aggregates, which are known as something that a person, either individually or altogether, that they begin to identify with and cling to as being the ego or the self. And to the extent that consciousness is attaching to these factors, this is the body, the feelings, the perceptions, and the volitional formations. Each one of those things can be known by way of what consciousness does. So it would be like if there's the body, the pleasant, unpleasant feeling, the perception, and then the intentions that get stirred up by that experience. And then consciousness is the thumb that grasps onto the other four. If you learn how to look closely and see it properly, you can see how these factors are constantly changing, constantly shifting, coming into awareness and dropping out of awareness. A lot of the time, that whole process is going on and we're not even at all aware of what's happening with the body, how we feel, what our intentions are, what our perceptions are. We may be completely oblivious to that entire process because we're maybe thinking about some beautiful thing or some horrible thing or some project that we've undertaken or something outside of ourselves. And so when the mind is caught up in something external, we're not even able to notice our own inner process. And so in effect, when we don't see it, then it's disappeared from awareness. But then when we learn how to turn the mirror back and we can see that process, then it comes back into awareness. But when the process of what's going on with these five khandhas is happening without clear understanding and without awareness, there's a possibility that the mind can become obsessed, compulsive, almost like in a trap. So if somebody speaks to you in a insulting or a disrespectful way, you may notice that all of a sudden your neck becomes very tight and the heart is beating and you've got some kind of like trembling sensations and then that, together with that, it could be some aversion kind of a feeling tone, that you dislike what they did to you, and under the influence of that feeling and that bodily process, the adrenaline that's running through the body, you might have some perception, which could be like a story that the mind creates, and the story might be extremely biased and not at all true. My stock expression for that story is that so and so always does that to me. That's an example of a kind of a false perception that is something that could arise when one is emotionally triggered. And then with the combination of those three things, there's a kind of a synergy.
Hey.
Okay, Kurt, I'm going to mute you, or maybe I'll take you out of this meeting. So the project for this morning is to have a little bit of practice in just learning how to turn the mirror back and to observe within and to notice what's going on. And I'm going to suggest not taking a negative example like I gave, like that, but even taking a positive example.
Ayya. Mahmoud also must be removed from the meeting.
Okay.
This gentleman here,
Yes, right.
thank you.
Oh! Oh! Hallo? Hallo? Ich bohr kurz noch das Loch, ja? Warte.
For some reason, the computer's not letting me remove him. Mahmoud, I'm sorry, you've got to go.
Guys, ich kann mich einfach wieder entmuten. Ja. Ich mach dann weiter, ja?
Perhaps if we leave the
I may
meeting
need some
and come
technical
back
help
in.
because I'm attempting to remove Mahmoud from the meeting, but
Why remove
it's
me?
not happening. Because you're making too much noise and disturbing the meeting. I'm sorry, you've got to go.
Sorry.
See, okay, remove and nothing happens. Do you know why?
Do this. Do this.
Hey.
No.
Hey.
Okay.
Excellent example.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Done. I thought this might happen because somebody has on the board has been started to announce our meetings through meetup.com. And occasionally that brings along people who are not necessarily sympathetic to us. Okay, so now here's what I'd like you to do. uh, think about loving kindness, wishing for each person here, regardless of what kind of person they are or how they behave themselves, for each one to be well, free from anger, free from ill will, free from anxiety, and able to care for their own happiness. This is your intention. That's one of the five khandhas, is having an intention. So try to just take a minute and think about the real, sincere meaning of holding loving kindness for all beings and what's going on inside of you when you make that intention. And when you have the perception of beings in the world, including all the people here, all the other people, all the sentient beings, even animals, any being that is able to know kindness. And that will be a kind of a perception. So what's happening in the mind? If you think about the sentient beings who deserve your kindness, bringing in a phrase of loving kindness. If there's a phrase you always use, you can use that. Or something simple like, may all beings be well, or may all beings be peaceful. And silently pronounce the words of kindness, even feeling how it is in the mouth when pronouncing a phrase of kindness. You've got the words of kindness, the perception of beings, the intention of kindness. And maybe there's some kind of a feeling, either a mental feeling or even a physical feeling in the body, connected with the thought of loving kindness. And just taking a couple of minutes to locate the feeling of kindness. And if the feeling of kindness can be felt in the body, direct awareness there to that place in the body where you can feel the feeling connected to kindness. It could be the heart, or it could be the face, or somewhere else. So that feeling of kindness brings the mind and the body together. The mind is directed to that thought of kindness, and something is happening in the body that's responding to that kindness. So every couple of breaths, or every breath, very softly bring up the words of kindness and the thought of kindness, however you express it. And where the feeling of kindness can be noticed, directing awareness there, or just being aware of the heart. And if some other thoughts or perceptions come along, like some noise or some other kind of thought, uh, you could notice that without chasing after thinking about the sound or the thought, but keeping the thought of kindness in front as much as you can. And noticing exactly what it's like if the mind is a little bit scattered between kindness and other things, or if the mind is fully connected to kindness. However the mind is going, just notice. What's that like? What's it like? What's happening? May all beings be well. May all beings be free. May all beings be peaceful. And if the mind is able to stay with that thought of kindness, the mind wants to do that. That's your intention. And if the mind goes away to something else, it's because you want to do that. It's a different intention. Wherever the mind goes, if it stays on kindness or goes to something else, that's an intention. And there's a perception, and there's a feeling. Whatever the mind is doing, you can see it so clearly in terms of the khandhas. You know the intention, what the mind is doing, what it wants to do. You know the perception of what's happening there. You know the feeling, and you know how the body changes. Gently allowing the feeling of kindness to spread over the body. Like the rays of the sun warming a rocky spot on the ground, gradually becoming warm and pleasant. letting the whole body be filled with kindness, letting the face and the head be full of kindness, letting the shoulders be full of kindness, letting the heart area full of kindness, making the belly full of kindness, making the legs full of kindness, making the feet full of kindness, making the hands full of kindness, filling the whole body with kindness. And letting the thought of kindness overflow the boundaries of the body and radiate outwards like the warmth of the sun, radiating in all directions. With that thought of kindness, the thought is radiating out all around. And with that different idea, notice if there's a different sensation or a different feeling when the kindness is directed inside or when the kindness is directed outside. That awareness, that consciousness that knowing factor, knows each thing as it arises. Each time you know the thought of kindness, you know the feeling, you know the perception, you know what's happening in the body. Factor is arising with some kind of something that it knows about. The knowing knows the body. The knowing knows the feeling. Knowing knows the sensation. Knowing knows the intention of kindness, the thought of kindness. I wish all beings be happy, and I know that I have this wish. All beings be free, knowing this wish. All beings be free of anger, knowing that intention. May all beings be free of anxiety, knowing this intention. letting the thought of kindness fill up every cell of the body, even soaking into the bones. The whole body is filled with the thought of kindness and radiating outwards in every direction, above, below, all around, to all as to myself, letting the thought of kindness go out like that. And reflecting this beautiful thought of kindness is not me and not mine. I am not identified with that thought. That thought is here with me because of causes and conditions. And the feeling, the perception, and all of it, all of them just arising for a few minutes based on conditions. And when you're ready to gently come out of this meditation, the 5 aggregates are associated with dukkha. And we think about the five aggregates coming up when there's some kind of negative emotion or a negative obsession of the mind. But you can see here that the five aggregates are also involved with meditation and with other positive states. Everything we do all day long, positive or negative, is involving these five aggregates. Even in something as beautiful as concentrated meditation, tranquil meditation, even something as lovely as the loving kindness practice. Those states also are conditioned. They're impermanent. It's a skillful way of moving the mind into a better place for wisdom and happiness. But nevertheless, it's not the final solution. Even the best meditation is still actually hollow, empty, unreliable, always changing. So don't be upset or frustrated with yourself if you notice that your meditation is changeable and variable. That's the nature of being in this conditioned world. And even if the meditation is comparatively more stabilized, more integrated, more collected, even in that state, you may know that the nevertheless, it still is not anything to be identified with. And seeing the unreliable aspect, even of the greatest meditation, then by letting go of that and not clinging or attaching or identifying with that, it gives you a chance to see everything more clearly, to see with wisdom the way it really is. I would like to welcome any comments or questions about this exercise of meditation. And if you don't have a comment or a question, you also may put your hand up and give a blessing. So I'll call on Maggie.
I realized more clearly, I think, that how about perceptions and the family I grew up in, things were not the way they seemed, you really didn't know what I was seeing, and it made me very unsure of anything I was seeing or thinking, which would be seemingly invalidated, and how that developed into a real defense as I aged, as I grew up, of anyone who questioned, what I thought I saw, or my perceptions. And I'd become very defensive, and so this really made it clarified, you know, how perceptions really have how they are impermanent and they aren't and to identify so strongly with them was definitely a stumbling block for me. And to get so focused on seeing it the right way or whatever the right way is, or whatever I thought the right way is, or reacting so strongly when someone would say, well, maybe you could see this differently.
Right.
So that helps to really clarify that, and I want to thank you for that.
That's a wonderful observation, and I'm so glad that you commented in this way. Indeed, especially what I've noticed is if other people are putting out a story about me, which is not the story that I tell on myself, and if the mind goes into a defensive place, the mind spins up a different narrative about the way it really is, and then wants to wage a contest to see which story is going to win. And that whole process is really very unhelpful in terms of our spiritual progress. In a way, that's why it's so good to do this investigation on something where we're not really being challenged or threatened. So there's not that much to be defensive about while we're sitting and having the thoughts of loving kindness. It's very different kind of sensation than it should be. Hopefully, something that's quite like safe. Like as long as this mind is filled with loving kindness, the mind is not obsessed with hatred, and so that's like a really safe place to be. And so within that safe place, then we can look at those perceptions that come along or the stories we tell, and say, "Oh, is that really true? Yeah, just like what you said, is that really true?" And even as soon as you grasp onto a particular story, a particular perception, as soon as you try to pin it down, then it becomes not true because of the way everything is always changing. So yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful comment. I really appreciate that. I'll call on Diana and then Sochi.
Thank you, Ayya. What I noticed, when we're talking about, again, the loving kindness, and I started to think of a particular person that it was, something they did against me, but then I thought, well, then I need to stop being angry against them. And I felt a softening here in my heart, but I noticed that it spread to my belly too.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, it involves the whole, torso in a sense. And right. It's just an observation that I had, and I wanted to share that. So it's like, oh, I can breathe again when I think of that person. So I wanted to share that with you. Thank you very much.
Good, that's great. Getting clear about how the different thoughts are affecting the body really helps us to be skillful because it's like the body can get caught in a trap or into a rut of being like always tense or always one way or another, and the mind can also get caught in a rut, like the mind gets caught in a groove. So if the mind and body are locked together into a groove, like thinking stressful thoughts and having stressful in the body, but then if you can shift the body, then you may be able to shift the mind. So it's a different kind of a way of unlocking that kind of that rut or that a tangle that a person could slip into, and to create the possibility for something completely different, even towards that difficult person. That if you really know, wow, I don't have to dislike that person. I have the right to have the thought of kindness for that person. I'm able to have the thought of kindness for that person. And what a power, what a superpower that is, that you got the power to choose. Your own mind belongs, I won't say the mind belongs to you because that's opposite to the Dhamma, but you still have the agency or the ability to choose what kind of thoughts that you welcome into your mind. So yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. So I'll call in Sochi.
Thank you so much. I think, yeah, similar to what was just shared by Diana and shared by you, Arya. When you started the meditation, the loving kindness meditation, I became aware of my body contracted and tight, but it was because of all the momentum and the movement that happened right before with the two gentlemen that were, kind of like disrupting the, our little sangha. And I was able to kind of see that my mind kept trying to go there, and say, I'm tight and contracted because of that going on, because of them. And then I would like bring my mind back, and like back with the loving kindness. And it was like, and then it would just like try to go back. It was like, but they did this to me, whatever. And then I started really seeing that, it was like my own mind doing it, not something out there doing it. And I was kind of like, oh, it's me, it's my own mind. And then I could even see me getting frustrated with not being able to stay, with the loving kindness meditation, and just kind of like that whole thing. And then saying, oh yeah, it's me. I'm causing this because I'm making this turmoil inside. And the more I just like relax, soften, just stay as best you can. If it, if your mind goes back, it's just bring it back. It was just kind of like a nice, nice meditation, nice way to see the whole thing happening.
Yeah. Thank you so much for giving that report. You might remember there's a saying of Ajahn Chah where somebody was complaining because the noise in the village was disturbing them during the meditation. And he said, no, the village is not disturbing you. You are disturbing the village. And so it's a funny kind of a thing, isn't it, that we think about this not self, it's not me, not mine, not myself. But at the same time, when you become lost in an external object, then your internal obsessions can grow and multiply without you being able to really have a clear awareness or clarity about the process. But then when you look within and then start to learn how to make the choices that are inclining towards peace, then we find even without a self, still that we have this power, we have this ability to make choices about what to do with the mind. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, now I'll call on Sid.
Thank you. I just wanted to share just a short visualization that I came up with while I was meditating, and I realized that I can be kind of like a net. You have all these feelings, you have all these thoughts and perceptions coming at you. You don't have to hold on to them. And so whenever you do hold on to them, you get heavy and weighed down. And that's what I was feeling at the beginning of the meditation. And then as soon as I realized that this is not mine, this is not me, none of that, I immediately felt a sense of lightness. So I hope that helps.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. That's a very nice way of expressing it. Okay, I'll call on Madeline.
Thank you, Ayya. This is kind of a bit painful for me to even express this, but over a long period of time, I've come to have the perception that my son doesn't really like me very much. And over this weekend, I was 80 and we went to Ireland from where I'm from. And my whole family, my cousins, my sisters, my daughter and son, we all gathered together. And it became even clearer there that I don't register in his perceptions at all. I talked it over with my daughter, and she kind of agrees with me, really. And what the reason is, I don't know. But this was really very helpful this evening because maybe my perception is wrong. And anyway, whether it is or it isn't, I have for a long time felt this antipathy towards me. And I've been doing every day, I practice loving kindness for him. I'd wish him well, and I send him feelings and wishes, good wishes. I keep a line of communication open. I'm always kind to him. And if I have done anything to hurt him in the past, I do forgiveness meditation also on that. As far as I'm aware, I haven't, and he hasn't said anything, but this has helped me from two perspectives. One, my perception may be mistaken. And two, no matter what, I just continue with my practice of loving kindness.
Yeah.
And I found Biko and Alio's practice of radiating kindness to be really, really helpful. Really, I feel like this lighthouse sending out beams of loving kindness. And that does help me manage this feeling of rejection and that I don't understand, really. Thank you. I'm not able to come to the later meeting because it's too late for me in the UK, but I find this meditation group really helpful. Thank you.
I would like to well, thank you for that observation and for having the honesty to share something that could be difficult to share. I'm glad that our little group here is safe for that kind of honesty. The situations that are more stressful or more difficult can obviously be where there's the greatest opportunity for cultivation and for discovering something about liberation. If a person always got everything the way they wanted it to be, the way that was pleasant, then they could turn into a kind of a soft and spoiled kind of person who didn't have strength in their practice, but a person who meets up with adversity. And other human beings are really hell. That's that's just kind of the way it is that with social emotions. If there's any kind of a dislike or disrespect going on, indeed it can be really challenging, but it is absolutely the opportunity to develop the mind and the ability to choose what kind of thoughts we welcome. So, yes, you're doing the right thing, and just keep on doing that. And it may be that it's, I used to have some bad relationships in my family, and there was one thing that there were 5 children in my family, and when we were adults, we were having a conversation at like some reunion or something, and all of a sudden we realized that every single one of these 5 children felt that they had been singled out to be neglected. Well, you know, mama's just trying to divide herself up 5 ways and take care of 5 different individuals, each of whom is, kind of unique and has their own special needs and interests. So then, my little brother said, well, they were doing their best. They were doing the best they knew how, and it was such a it's kind of like such a breakthrough that sometimes these stories, like that I'm being neglected, a story like that could get like locked in and can seem to be a reality, and maybe it's different, maybe there's a different way of looking at it. So I I, uh, I wish you the best, and I hope that everything will be impermanent, and the difficulties will change, as well as everything is always changing. We've spent a very pleasant hour together, and I'd like to invite us all to put our hands together and join in giving respects to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. My Lord, the perfectly enlightened and blessed one, I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. The teachings so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha.
Thank you, Ayya.
Okay, thank you everyone
Thank
for
you,
your
Ayya.
practice.
Thank you later.
Thank
you, Ayya.
See you later.